2 videos have come up in the last week on my For You page about lying about omission, and I feel like I'm being called to speak on it. Now, both of the videos was about how insidious this is and how it ties to covert abuse. Basically, withholding information that you need to make an informed decision. They're manipulating you to see a situation through a specific perspective. My abuser did this about money. Before we moved in together, I asked him how we were going to divide the household bills, and he suggested that he would continue to pay the bills as is, and I would take the money that I normally would spend on bills and pay off my student loan, save for a down payment, and buy groceries. So for 6 months, we operated this way. Then one day I was putting away laundry and I found a utility bill in his underwear drawer that was 6 months overdue. When I brought this up to him, of course, his initial reaction was deflection. What the fuck are you doing going through my underwear drawer? Notice how he shifted the focus away from not paying the bill for 6 months to me going into his underwear drawer. Then I ended up finding out that basically all of the bills were equally behind. And all I could think was that had I known that he was that terrible with money, one, I wouldn't have moved in with him. And I probably would have ended the relationship because being financially responsible is a deal breaker of mine. And he knew that about me. And so he intentionally withheld the information of not paying the bills to prevent me from making an informed choice. And this is why I'm always an advocate of not communicating your deal breakers early. It's better to observe people and how they naturally behave. So now in my last relationship, I lied by omission. When we first started dating, I was a smoker and I hid this information from him. I had no clue if the relationship was going to go anywhere, and so I thought I'm just going to keep it to myself. At the 6-month mark, when I realized that the relationship was going to go somewhere, I made the decision to quit. Cold turkey, just completely quit. Around the 1-year mark, I started to feel guilty that I didn't share that information with him, and so I came clean. How can I preach about being authentic when I wasn't authentic in the beginning? But he lied by omission too. I would never in my life call him abusive at all. He was a sweetheart, but he was a wounded people pleaser. He deeply, deeply cares about other people's perception of him. Because he had me on this pedestal, he lied by omission about why him and his ex went to therapy. It was 1.5 years into our relationship when I found out the full truth. And when it came out, at first he deflected. He said, well, that's in the past. I didn't think it was important, to which I responded, of course it's important. Going to therapy because she caught you doing something you weren't supposed to is way different than the story that you fed me. But what is so interesting is, had he been honest, had he told me the truth of the situation, I probably wouldn't have cared. When you lie by omission, you're not allowing someone to have all of the details they need to make an informed decision. It is rooted in fear of rejection. I'm afraid that if I'm honest with you, you will reject me. But when you're operating from fear of rejection, what you don't realize is that that's clouding your perception, because the only person rejecting you is you. If you accept all of you, including all of the wounded decisions you've made in your lifetime, then you're not dependent on somebody else's approval and you can show up authentically. But if my approval is needed for you to feel good about yourself, well, that tells me you reject yourself. You don't love yourself. You don't value yourself. And if you're masking about this, what else are you masking about? Definitely not justifying that I lied about smoking for the first year of our relationship, but the guilt of that lie pushed me to come clean. If you suffer from fear of rejection, the only person rejecting you is you.